guys, how are you doing today? It's Cynthia with F.F.T Helping Others. We are in a new session today. Brand new. And this is called charting either our anger, either our emotions, either ourselves, our depression, how we feel, how we're feeling. And we're going to start charting that stuff. Okay? How we feel, we can definitely chart it. Okay, sometimes we may feel angry today. Sometimes we may feel emotional. Sometimes we may feel depressed. Sometimes we may feel how we're feeling. We can definitely chart it. Okay, guys, and we may not feel like we can chart it. Hey, Joanna, how are you doing? And sometimes when we're feeling in a certain catalyst, or sometimes when we're feeling in a certain way, we can definitely chart that, okay, guys? And so when we start feeling in a certain situation, we can start feeling like we're down spiraling, guys. And especially when we have been in a situation where we've been abused, we need to start feeling like we need to chart that, guys. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I'm gonna post this. I'm gonna post this right here, guys. All right, at this right here, I'm gonna be posting this. Okay, guys. So it's your event of how you feel, and it's gonna be your reaction. Okay, so I'm gonna post that, and we're going to start rating our low self-control and our high self-control. So how we feel and how we're feeling later, okay? So we're going to start charting our highs and our lows, okay? So getting like physical anger, okay? So like our highs and our lows. So what would be like our low self-control would be like, I'm physically hurt someone. Damage or destroy property using drugs, yell accusations and threats, call a person lots of bad names, trying to get someone in trouble or by telling on someone, take several deep breaths, so count to 10, punch a pillow or punching a bag, assertively say what you think, go for a bike ride or play a sport or a game, listen to some music, take a walk or run or swim, do a relaxation exercise or a meditation, write about it in a diary or a journal, share your feelings with someone or you trust, okay? So when we feel certain kind of distraction or situation, or when we're in a deep-seated thing, we're going to start charting that, especially when we've been abused or we feel like we're in an emotional down spiral. We need to start charting those situations so we are not feeling like we are like so depressed or emotional, like we have to start calling somebody, especially if we feel like you definitely want to call somebody if you are so massively depressed and you know that you feel suicidal. That definitely you need to call someone immediately. And I'm going to post the suicide hotline when I'm finished with this. I'm going to post it. So you will have the suicide hotline. Okay, guys? And I'm also going to post, like I always do, I always give you guys the domestic hotline. I'm going to go with that route as well. But I want you guys to be able to find a catalyst so that you can have some kind of way so that you can find self-control in certain issues of your life. Okay? Because now that we're alone, beforehand, we felt like there was a person who was controlling our emotions, like he would handle that or she would handle that, or that person, that intimate partner who was violent with us would handle that situation for us. He would be angry. So our corresponding would be to be fearful. He would hit us. So our correspondence to that would be afraid. So now we have to learn to not, to be reactive, to have a reaction to certain other aspects of that. You understand what I mean? So you're going to use this chart on the other side for 1 week. I want you to use this chart for a week, and I'm going to post it on here. And later on, you can make copies of it if you want, And what you do is in the events in the event columns, you're going to describe what happened to you when either you're angry or when you're sad or when you're mad or when you're depressed. What was the event that put you in that mood? What was the event that got you there? Whether the event was, I was thinking of my abuser and I got very depressed. I was thinking of the situation that when he hit me and that put me in a depressed attitude. I was thinking of my kids put me there. My kids put me in a funk. I was trying to wash dishes and my kids totally put me in a yelling situation. So that was the event that put you into that reaction. So the event was me washing dishes and the event or the reaction was anger, So the event would be washing dishes. The reaction was anger. Okay, so you have to think of the event and you have to think of what was the reaction. What we're trying to do here is think of what you did and what was your reaction. What we're trying to do is stabilize what you feel and what was the reaction. What you were doing and what got you to that reaction, so you can learn how to stabilize the way you feel and what you can do at your reaction. You know what I'm saying? So that you can learn how to stabilize your moods. You see what I'm saying? And what you want to do is, in the reactions column, okay, put the number of the reaction that comes closest to what you did. Okay? So choose from, I'm going to give you a small list of self-control numbers. So from low self-control numbers to highest self-control numbers, okay? So your highest self-control numbers would be physically hurt someone. I physically hurt someone. That would be you're physically hurting someone. Or your highest would be I took drugs. I drank. That's how I took care of the situation. My kids were acting out of line, so I went and took a drink, So you're taking your drink would be your number 3. My reaction to that would be the number 3, And so that would be your reaction to your event, And that would be what you're taking care of it as. You know what I'm saying? And so what we want to do is be less of that reaction. From 1 to 17, I don't want you to be as high of a 3 as you are. I want you to be as low as you're feeling. I want you to take it to a place to where you would be at number 13, which would be listening to music. Okay? Your event of, I was feeling depressed. I want your event or your reaction to, I'm not feeling good, I'm feeling depressed. Your reaction to that should be, I listen to music. Your reaction should always be, I want to take a walk. And that should be your reaction. So your reaction should be, let me go take a walk. And that's your reaction, okay? So that's your reaction. Your experience should be that, okay? Same thing goes for what happens if your ex-husband comes back into your life and you're about to go to see him in court and you feel overwhelmed. You're about to see him in court, you're feeling overwhelmed, you feel traumatic inside your very being. What I want you to do is look back at your reaction guideline and see, okay, what can I do to take the trauma off of my heart at that very moment? Of course, there's going to be trauma there because you're about to see your ex-husband, or you're about to see the abuser. I want you to look at something in which will take part of that reaction off. What can you do to take half of that reaction off of there, Look at something that will take that reaction off. Well, I can do relaxing exercises. I can meditate on the drive to the courthouse. I can do relaxing exercises. I can listen to music That would be my relaxing exercises. So that would be my reaction. That's the reaction that I would take. My reaction, hey Rhonda. So my reaction to that would be, I would take a relaxation for that. So on your drive to going to the courthouse would be to take relaxation meditation on the drive to the courthouse. Or, hey sis, so that would be your reaction to that. What if you decided, if your ex came and he's about to pick up the kids? So your event would be, the event here would be, my ex is about to pick up the kids. So the reaction that you will put on the side would be, I'm about to write it in my diary. That would be number 16. I will write it in my diary. Because I don't want to have an issue with him, I'm going to write it in my diary. So that would be writing in my diary. Or writing in my journal. Not diary, but journal. So your event or your reaction would be writing in my journal. Because what we're trying to do is establish how to not have a negative reaction, but have a positive. Let's turn everything from a negative to a positive, okay? Because right now, your body is in a trauma state, a traumatic state. Let's turn your body from traumatic state into a positive state. Listen, today I was talking to Lisa and I was telling her that your body sends off endorphins, okay? Actually, I had this up here somewhere. Let me see if I still have it up. Let's see if I can. Let me pull it back up, guys. Let me pull it back up. Your body actually expels endorphins. It sells not only endorphins, but it also, let me see if I can find it back up again. Your body endorphins. So to keep your body happy, and actually your body can send off endorphins. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on one second. I'm sorry, guys. I had it up earlier, and now I don't have it anymore. Body. And so that to keep your stress level down and to keep the stress level all around down, and for your better quality of mood all around you, let me see if I can find it around. Hold on one second. Serotonin, that's what it is. It's serotonin. Serotonin. That's what it is. It's serotonin and endorphins. Yeah. Okay. So your body excretes serotonin, endorphins, and it excretes that out of your skin, out of your body. And what it does is that chemical reaction that comes out of you, it's a happy endorphin, okay? And it's a well-being endorphin. And so the more that chemical reacts out of your body, it's a well-being, okay? It helps you to contribute your well-being, your happiness, and it actually helps your brain and your bowels, your platelets, everything. And as you expel that, it actually goes into the environment, believe it or not. I was telling that to Lisa today. And so, believe it or not, as your body expels serotonin and your body expels endorphins for the body, let me see. As your body excretes endorphins, it says, as your body excretes endorphins, your release level comes down. You have less pain in your body, okay? The brain receptors interact as an opiate for your brain to reduce pain levels in your body. So if you have pain in your body, it'll reduce that pain level in your body. So if you have any pain, it'll actually reduce it, okay? And so if you have endorphins in your bodies and it increases it, okay? So we have to think positivity, okay? And so endorphins are triggers that give you positive feelings, okay? So we have to start switching our thoughts from negativity to positivity, okay? And so even when we have a person that might have been around us a long time ago who was very negative and who was always abusive and who was always bringing us down, we have to now shift our thoughts and shift our mood from a negative perspective to a positive perspective. We now have to start releasing endorphins. We now have to start releasing those endorphins in our body, because those endorphins will go even into the air, into our environment, okay? It will be good for our plants. It will be good for our air. It will be good for our animals. It will be good for our kids. So those endorphin levels will actually be good to release to our own bodies, okay? So when we know that those endorphin feelings are actually good for us, it will make us feel good. It will make us want to wake up in the morning. It will make us want to act happier. It's a pain reliever. And so those things are what we want to switch. It's our attitude. It's our thinking, our frame of thought. Have you ever heard of somebody say that stinking thinking? Well, that's exactly it. It's that stinking thinking that we have to kind of switch off. We have to switch that stinking thinking, okay? So when we're around that person, even when like your ex is coming to picking up the kids, okay? So when we know he's about to come and pick up the kids, okay? So that's like that event that's about to happen, the event that's about to happen. I know that he's coming to pick them up. I know he's coming. So he's coming to get them, and we know that that's going to happen. Our event, our reaction is either to put on good music, okay, here. So our event would be, like it says here, put on relaxing, meditative music. Because we know that negative thought, that negative feeling, that negative something is about to increase in our home. So we need to react by putting something that would shift the atmosphere. Because he's coming to pick up the kids. He's coming. Or she's coming. Or the person is coming. Okay? So we need to shift the atmosphere so that mood will change. You know what I'm saying? You can control your atmosphere. You have to control it. It's your atmosphere. You control you. So you have to control the atmosphere. Same thing goes with your kids. You control their atmosphere. You are the mom or you're the dad. You control the atmosphere, okay? Same thing goes all right, so let's say that there's a traffic jam and you're driving. And it's traffic, guys. It is traffic. So there's traffic. That is the event, correct? The event is traffic. What is the reaction? So the reaction will be what? Think about that. Well, my reaction could either be a negative reaction to either start honking my horn and going crazy at everybody and going nuts and screaming out the window and saying, "Get out of my way." That could be my reaction. Or my reaction could be putting my window up and literally not worry about everyone that is in my environment and shifting my mood in my vehicle and turning the music on. So that would be my reaction, okay? So my event would be traffic, but my reaction would be my music. So listen, that's my moment to have praise and music on. That's my moment to listen to Stephen Furtick. And listen, I am not advertising for Stephen Furtick, but I do love my Stephen Furtick. Sorry, guys. I like my Stephen Furtick and his praise. So I just want to tell you that. So that could be your moment to shift the mood and shift the environment to get your endorphins up before you get home. That could be your moment to get home into a better atmosphere, to shift the mood and say, okay, I'm coming home. I'm coming in a better atmosphere, better mood. Because remember, when you get home, everything is tense. Everything is, you came home from work and even this is all tense and everything is tense. Everything's just cluttered up. You know what I'm saying? So you can shift that atmosphere yourself. You have to shift it. You have that right. Okay. Same thing goes for kids. They had a bully at school. So the event is the bully, So what would be the reaction would be what? How would we react to that? So I can react in two different ways. Either he can go tell the teacher, and that would be one reaction. He can go tell mom, and he could have that reaction. Or the other reaction is ignoring the bully or, having the teacher take care of the bully, Again, but that bully will still be there. It definitely will still be there. Or he can keep acting with kindness. Eventually, that bully will still wear him down. He'll wear him down, But again, it's about his reaction to the event. The event and the reaction is how we react to our event. A mental health clients, but I'm creating my own personal version of coping skills program using some change thinking around and turn those negatives into positives so that we can learn from beginning to some positive results in our lives and our souls and our hearts. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Information from this workbook trying to emphasize the ways to learn and many anger. Yeah, I agree. I think that when we develop how to control those thoughts and our actions, hopefully when we control how we develop and how we develop those things, I think it's the best way on how not to hurt one another. That's the best way how to do that. I agree. Yeah, Joanna. Yeah, hurting people and hurting other people, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Yeah. But, having to maybe control those situations and maybe how to cope with those skills, that's the best way to maybe focus on a better way of reacting. Hi, Janet. Miss Ramirez. So the best way to fix our stinking thinking, like I said, or the best way to deal with the situations is to have a chart that better reacts with our moods and with our endorphins, our reactions, our mood factors. You know what I mean, Joanna? So I definitely agree in that we need to have in everything in life, we need to have some kind of charting, some kind of way, some examples, you know what I mean? And everything we need to have some kind of pretense of, assertiveness of ways to deal with our lives. You know what I mean? And so I agree that we need to have some kind of way to turn a negative into a positive, everything, how to be able to turn the way that we treat our negativity of seeing our children into a positive aspect. Everything needs to have control. It needs to have control in our lives. The way that we seek our work, we need to have that into a negative to a positive aspect. So yeah, I agree. So in everything, there has to be from a positive into a reaction. There always has to be, so I definitely agree with you. And so there has to be a low self-control and a high self-control, and that has to have a balance some way, somehow. And so, we can't start by anger or, a defamation or any of that. We have to try to be able to control ourselves. And how can we be able to show our kids if we are not in control ourselves, So, but anyways, there are some questions at the very bottom that says, were any of the things that made you angry preventable, and how are these things preventable? How can you prevent, like we were talking about going into, of course, going into court. Remember, we're going into child support court. We're going to see him, or we're going to go again to go and renew our domestic violence stuff. We're about to renew our protective order. How can we prevent being angry at the person that really there's no control over that? We can't control how he treated us in the past. We can't control that. That's out of our span of control. We can't control air. We can't control space. It's impossible to control space around us. And so when we start seeing things as space, around us, it's impossible to control that. Listen, I told another girl that I was counseling, you can only control about this much air, this much space, which is you. This is you right here. This box is you. You control this much area. Just think of your life as about this much. This is your area. Okay? This is infinite space. This is your finiteness. This is finite, and this is infinite. Okay, remember that. This is infinite and this is finite. And so you can control about this much. That's it. That's all you can control is finiteness. And so that's all you can control. If you can only control finiteness, okay, you can't control the area of space that you can only control. So finite, that's it. That's all you can control. Is finiteness. That means that you cannot control others. You cannot control what they're doing. You cannot control what they're thinking. You cannot control the space between them. You cannot control cars. You cannot control individuals. It's impossible. You can only control your box, your finiteness. Your space between you. That's all you can control. And that's all you can control, And sometimes, even in your finiteness, you cannot control that either. But that's all you can control is your finiteness. Finite. That's it. Your box. And when you see that in that spectrum, when you see that box, when you see the little box, when you see the little box and you go, wow, this is all I can control, just that's it, that's all I have, that's it. When you see the box and you see that your box is about, actually, not even that big. When you see that your box is about that big, and that's all you can control is about that big, and the world around you is so huge, and this is infinite. This is all infinite right here. And you have about this much. That's it. This is all you can control. Okay? If we can come to a place where we are courageous enough to find a way to maybe tell them that we are sorry and they are so angry and that they are going to pray for them, it can make such an amazing impact and their ability to show that a person loves being ugly. Yeah. We hear on. Yes, exactly. And prayer preaching. Yes, exactly. And the thing about it is, let me tell you something, Joanna. My theology teacher told me this. This is my theology. And it's my theology teacher. And I try not to put it so biblical sometimes because I don't really know who's in here in this chat room. But, God is infinite and we are finite. We're totally finite. And so when I'm counseling, I counsel Christian. I'm a Christian counselor. And so I tell them, you are totally infinite. God is God is infinite. You are finite. This is you. And God is all over, You're trying to control a span of God that only God can do. You're trying to control God's universe. And you can't do that because that is God's. What you can only control is what God has given you. You can only control that much. God is only giving you but what you can control. And even that is not allowable because God gave you this much. Okay? God only gave you a span of time and a span of space. Okay? And so really what he gave you was an amount of time and an amount of space. Okay? And it's true. Serenity prayer, it's the time and space to be able to utilize for forgiveness, for compassion, for love. He gave you that amount of space to give to others so that you can utilize that space so that you can give to others and give to others generously. Okay? So that amount of space that he gave you was the amount of space so that you can give to others and give to others generously. But that's the time that he gave us. He gave us this amount of time, but that amount of space, the amount of time that he gave us was to give to others and not to utilize it for ourselves. As much as we think, that amount of time that he gave us was actually to be utilized to give to others, to utilize for his kingdom and for his glory. And so that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be utilizing it for compassion, for love, for self-control, all the fruits of the Spirit. We're supposed to be going out there and we're supposed to be utilizing that as for his glory. And truly, when people see that and go, wow, I had no idea that I only had about this much amount of space and amount of time. What we need to remember is God is out of time and out of space. He's never in time and he's never in space. That's not what God is, not in time and in space. We are the ones that are in time and in space. We're the ones that count time. We count time. God doesn't count time and he is not in space. And so that's why he's an infinity, But the time that he's given us is to give others love and to give others compassion and to give others forgiveness. And that's what he's given it to us for, And so that's the problem, is sometimes we don't do that, That's the problem, Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Sometimes I ramble on, sorry. But anyways, but what I was saying is that let me get back to the book at hand. With high self-control actions work best for you. So high self-controls would be the experiences that you would feel like if you are out of control. What are high self-controls? High self-controls are feelings if you are not out of control, if you're not feeling in control. What would be high self-controls? High self-controls are feelings if you're not in control, if you're totally out of control, if you're not feeling in control, if you are out of control, if you're not realizing that you're not able to take control of your life, of your mouth, of your situations, that you are not able to, that you're not able to, that you're not able to take, that you're angry all the time. So high self-control actions are things of, that you're angry all the time, that you're, bitter all the time, that, that you're mean all the time. Those are high self-control issues. And what actions work best for you? How can you take care of that, and how would you be best to, address those situations? What would be best to address those things? And which high self-control actions would you like to learn? How can you address those high self-control issues? Sometimes when you are mean to others, or when you're being nasty to one another, or when you're not self-controlling your mouth, or when you're not self-controlling your emotions, or if you're Christian, what scriptures can you, use or utilize, that would, control your emotions when you're not tempered? What scripture would you put, or if you're not being kind to one another, what scripture would you put there, or if you're not being a good, compassionate Christian, what scripture would you utilize there, So, those are the things that you would want to put in those reactional areas, you would definitely want to put them there. And so those are things that you would definitely want to put there. And those are prevalent to wanting to be a good person. And if you're a Christian, you want to be a good Christian, definitely. And leading a good Christian life, definitely. And a walking a good Christian way. Because definitely we want to be an example to others. And to be a good Christian example means that you are walking in the path that God wants you to walk, and walking in God's ways, and walking in God's way and leading in God's path is making sure that you're leading by God's example, no matter what happens around you. So, anyways, I will be posting this up and putting this up for everybody. That way you guys have an opportunity to take a look at it, to utilize it, to share it with other people, to use it as an example for yourselves. Definitely. And that way you have something for yourselves. That way when you guys are having an issue with depression and with anger, you will have something as an example. Okay. Like always, guys, remember the domestic violence rally is already up. We are going to be having some we have artists that are probably going to be there. We're looking into Tyler Perry probably being there, and Lionel Richie maybe. We are looking into also some other artists that might be coming on board as well. And we're also looking into one of the housewives. I asked her to be there as well, but we are also having Miss America Florida 2019. She is going to be there. We have some other representatives that we're looking into, like Representative Bayer and stuff. So we are looking into him being there. And also Representative Rob Whitman and some other people as well. And don't forget that we already have our website up. So go to www.domesticviolencerally2019.com. Again, it's domesticviolencerally2019.com. I will post on this video the the domestic violence number on there, and I will also put the suicide number on here as well. Development of our own individual personal anger control plans and our coping skills are essential for helping to develop the skills that are necessary to successful managing anger. All right, bye, Joanna. Okay, so I will talk to you guys later, and I will see you guys, and I will post that to you guys, okay? And like always, you guys are beautiful. You guys are lovely. Never forget that I love you guys, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.